Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here to discuss Shawn Michaels' return to WWE. This honestly is a rumor that just won't die. It was over a month ago that AJ Styles posted a fan-made picture of AJ Styles and Shawn Michaels going eye to eye in sort of like a fan art promo for the Royal Rumble. At that time, it was being discussed all of the tricks WWE would pull out of their bag to sell out the Alamo Dome in the 20-year anniversary of the 1997 Royal Rumble, the 2017 Royal Rumble. This one, honestly, is going to be a big one. I am currently, right now, listening to Something to Wrestle With, the Bruce Pritchard podcast hosted on the MLW Network. They did a 3-hour and 6-minute podcast talking about the 1997 Royal Rumble. I'm currently only about 45 minutes into it, and honestly, my mind is blown. There was things that I had to rewind and listen to it again because I wanted to make sure that I heard it right, and there was things that I rewound because I just couldn't believe what they said. Honestly, I think that the Bruce Pritchard Something to Wrestle With podcast, in my mind, is the most truthful, honest wrestling discussion podcast that there is. If you were not subscribed to it, and if you have not listened to any of the shows, a lot of the past episodes are really great. They did episodes on Dusty Rhodes coming to the WWF, the Mega Powers in the WWF. They've done shows such as like WrestleMania 7. They've done the 1990 Survivor Series, where it's not just a review. They don't just sit there and tell you the results of the shows. They tell you what led to them picking where they were going with the shows, why they did what they did at the shows, the build-up to the shows, what happened after the shows. Plus, if you're just in it for shits and giggles, they've done 2 episodes on Bruce Pritchard in TNA, where Bruce Pritchard honestly wasn't even in TNA all that long, but they've done 6 hours of audio over just weird, fucked up shit that happened in that company while he was there. And I think that honestly, he was only there for a year, maybe just a little bit more, if I can remember right. But getting back on track, the rumor is that they want Shawn Michaels to wrestle against AJ Styles. Some people say that this might be a match that happens at the Royal Rumble. Honestly, I think if they were doing Shawn Michaels versus AJ Styles at the Royal Rumble, I don't think they would have picked Dolph Ziggler as a number 1 contender on the December 27th edition of SmackDown, coming to you live from Chicago. I think that they would be building up Shawn Michaels and his return. I think that honestly they probably would have put at least 2 months into the return, although Goldberg wasn't around all that long before the Survivor Series, and his payoff worked out really well. I mean, the Survivor Series, the amount of people that watched, the amount of people that subscribed, the amount of people that were talking about it, the amount of people that just watched it on social media accounts. I think they got people fired up to see Goldberg want to wrestle at the Royal Rumble, or Goldberg wrestle at WrestleMania once again, which could help out WWE in the long run down the road. Shawn Michaels, there was a rumor for a while that he was replacing Matt Bloom at the NXT Performance Center as the new head trainer. This rumor was debunked on the last Triple H podcast. Well, within Triple H, I guess you can say the press call, media call, what he did for the last NXT TakeOver. There's 100 different sites that post this as a podcast for you to listen to. If you've never listened to one, these are the best 1-hour conversations with Triple H, where he gives you honestly the best insight on what is going on with NXT. Not really the best insight on WWE, because he will normally sort of say that that's not his division, but he will answer questions if he is asked with the best knowledge that he has. He's not going to spoil things or anything like that, but if a question is asked, he normally will answer it. And he was asked about Shawn Michaels being at the Performance Center, and he said that Shawn Michaels was not replacing him as the head trainer. It has not been announced that Shawn Michaels is there as any kind of a trainer, although a lot of people are saying that they are working out with Shawn Michaels on a routine basis. Shawn Michaels, to me, honestly, is the guy that will come back to wrestling for money. I know that he's not Steve Austin. They're two separate guys. But from listening to the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast, I think that him and Shawn Michaels are a lot alike. They both have bills coming in for their families. And if there's money on the table to be made, whether if it's, Shawn Michaels doing a hunting show or doing a hunting expo or doing, sort of a fan meet and greet with RF Video, Michaels is going to go do the work. He's going to cast a check and he's going to take it. I was always, like a lot of other people, saying that Shawn Michaels was never going to wrestle again, that he would retire from wrestling. Was he ever going to show up and be a special guest referee like he was for Randy Orton versus Daniel Bryan in that Hell in the Cell match, or maybe show up on Monday Night Raw and do some sort of a promo leading up to a Triple H match, maybe telling Triple H not to fight The Undertaker at WrestleMania because he couldn't do it, and nobody can, or something like that, trying to just build up suspense for a big match. Yeah, Shawn's going to do it, but I didn't think that Shawn would ever get in the ring again. And at WrestleMania 32, Shawn came out. He beat up the League of Nations. It was him, Mick Foley, and Steve Austin. Maybe not the best trio of all time, but getting to see two of the three guys that we never thought we'd ever see wrestle again. It's always rumored that Shawn's going to come back. It's always rumored that Austin's going to come back. And every year we're let down. WrestleMania 32 definitely had huge rumors that we would see Daniel Bryan wrestle against Shawn Michaels. We would see Steve Austin wrestle against Brock Lesnar. Neither of those matches happened, but at least we get to see some stunners and some super kicks. That was pretty fun. To see him get in the ring. I thought it was rumored that Shawn would come back and return in the Royal Rumble. Just come out, get the big pop, run down to the ring, maybe hit a super kick, eliminate a guy or two, and then just sort of get dumped over the top and then do the, catchphrase Shawn Michaels, just sort of like, I gave it my best. I tried. Maybe I thought I could main event WrestleMania again, but it's not going to happen. But at least I can go home and tell my kids that I tried. That's all you really need with guys returning at the Royal Rumble. We've seen it 1,000 times from Bob Backlund and Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Kevin Nash. Guys just giving it a chance. Going out there, getting the big pop, cashing the check, and giving fans something to talk about for years to come. Who is going to be the special guests of the Royal Rumble? There's always normally 2 or 3. I know that the one year they did the announcers instead of doing special people. Booker T, JBL, Michael Cole, all got up and they got into the ring. It was what it was. There was a year that we thought that we were going to get a whole lot of sort of the 2000s guys returning that were doing the indie circuit at the time. Chris Masters, Shelton Benjamin, Carlito. All those guys were going to do it, and, I guess we all got worked. I talked to Carlito about it at an autograph signing at BTW WrestleFest a few years ago, and he said that even his brother got worked, and his brother was texting him the information to the hotel where they were staying at so they could all stay together and save some money and hang out, and Carlito had to tell him he wasn't booked, he wasn't coming. So it is what it is. We'll have to see what goes down with this. I know that there's smoke on this fire. Shawn Michaels is at the Performance Center a lot. I know that Shawn Michaels has said that he left wrestling behind. He doesn't really watch it that much. He doesn't really have the fire in his belly to compete anymore. He left that behind. The check's got to be awfully big for him to do it. And I think that it would have to be a match where he knew there was no chance in hell that he was going to let his fans down. I mean, Mick Foley has talked about this in books. Mick Foley has talked about this on his DVD. Mick Foley has talked about this on his stand-up special, is that he really feels like he came back one too many times. He had the great last stand in 2000 at the Royal Rumble and No Way Out against Triple H. And then they brought him back for WrestleMania. And even though he main evented WrestleMania, he didn't steal the show. He didn't get that WrestleMania moment. And then he talked into coming back for the Randy Orton matches. And those were great. So he said, why not come back and give it another go? And I can't remember I think it was WrestleMania 20 In WrestleMania 20, he didn't bring it. And I think he was even called out by Steve Austin, just saying that he didn't give it everything he had, and he felt like he had sort of let down Evolution, he had let down The Rock, and that sort of hung there as shit, he shit the bed, and then he came back again and again and again, and he had that real good WrestleMania. I think it's 22, but people might comment saying it's 23. It's one or the other. I get those two mixed up all the time. The match against him and Edge. That would have been a great one to hang his head on, but I think after that he came back, and I think he did the ECW tag match where it was him and Edge against Funk and Dreamer, I think is who it was, and I don't know, it wasn't that good, but it wasn't as good as the last ECW pay-per-view. We can say that. So I know that Shawn's there in Orlando working out at the Performance Center. I don't know why he would, maybe Triple H talked him into coming there. I still really don't believe he's coming back. I don't think he's going to wrestle a match. I don't think there's any slight to AJ Styles. AJ Styles is the best performer that WWE has today. But if Shawn wasn't going to come back and do a match against Daniel Bryan, I don't know why Shawn would come back and do a match against AJ Styles. I'm not going to use the excuse that AJ was in TNA and that Shawn doesn't know who he is. Definitely Kevin Nash and Scott Hall and Sean Waltman, friends of Shawn Michaels, all worked in TNA. All three of these guys have wrestled with AJ Styles for years, known how great a performer he is. Somebody had to have told Shawn that this guy's the guy, that he's fucking the Shawn Michaels of today, goes out and wrestles great matches. I want to see the match. I do. I just don't think that it's going to happen. I don't think that it's coming, but it's something that we can dream about. And as long as Shawn is at the Performance Center and he hasn't been announced as an official trainer, I don't know what he's doing there. And that's what makes me think that maybe this is a chance that this could happen. So we're going to have to see. It's definitely not going to happen at the Rumble. But maybe we can give this match at WrestleMania 33.